Hi guys, it's Mrs. Bailey. We're back and we are going to be talking about space. Okay, so space in your artwork is when you kind of show things that are farther away, maybe some things are closer, and there's a whole bunch of different ways you can do that. Space is when you can kind of move around. So let me walk around and show you some different ways to see space. So right now we are in my art room. So if I want to move around the space, I just walk around and I can get closer to things. I can get behind things. This chair is now behind the table. So there is space in my room. However, in your paper, you can't just move around. So when we talk about space in artwork, we're talking about showing distance. Things are farther away, things are closer. Closer, farther. As it gets farther away, it's hiding and it looks a little smaller. So these are some things we talk about, not outer space. That's a little different. We're talking about how things look when they're in our artwork. Far away, they look little, they could be hiding behind things, and then closer, they're bigger. So how do we do that? How do we do that when we have flat paper? We want to show things that are farther away or things that are really close. And we got a few tricks, and we're going to do that today. We're going to do it with a landscape. A landscape is when you show things outside. So we're going to have grass and some hills. We're going to do a little house and some trees, and we're going to have space in our picture so that we know what is closer and farther away. Don't worry, it'll come into focus here as soon as I start drawing something. So what we're going to do is we are going to work on the ground first, okay? So we're going to add some hills, and this will definitely help with our space. So when we do this, we want to make sure that we're starting with our pencil on the edge of the paper, not just kind of floating around in the middle. So somewhere towards the bottom, and I've got my paper going vertical today, tall. We're going to draw a hill. So I'm going to start all the way on the edge, just draw a curved line, and you can end it wherever you want. This is your hill. And then, now that we've kind of got a hill in the front, we're going to take our pencil, let's put it somewhere on that hill. I'm going to pick right here. You're now going to draw this line, and it's going to go all the way off the paper on the other side. There we go. Okay, so now we've got two hills. I'm going to add one more. I want to have some land in the distance. So this one, this is going to be my horizon line. This is really going to show where the ground stops and the sky is going to start. So this line is going to go somewhere in the middle of your paper. Does not have to be perfect because the ground is never perfectly straight. There we go. So this line tells me everything up here is now going to be sky, and I've got lots of different levels of land that I can work with down here. So first, on the horizon line, everything's going to be really, really far away, okay? Sorry if that was blurry for you. So everything is going to be really, really far away on this horizon line, okay? So let's draw some just simple trees. So we can use some shapes for that. So let's draw a rectangle for the trunk, and I'm going to do ovals for my trees today. We're going to make them really tall. So there's a tree. So that one's really far away. But if I put a tree on this hill's closer. So I need to make it bigger. So watch how much bigger. So that was a little rectangle. Look at this rectangle. And then my oval on top. Is that tree bigger? So we're starting to show some space, and I can't see through trees. So I'm going to erase just a little bit of my land. There we go. So this one's really far away, and it's smaller. This one is in the middle, so it's a little bit bigger, but if I put one down here, it's going to be pretty big. So let's draw another rectangle, and watch, this is going to be really big. Did I cover some of my little tree? Just like when we were looking at the chairs when we were walking around my room. If the chairs got behind the table, you couldn't see all of them because they were kind of hiding behind the table. This big tree is so big, it hides some of the other things that are happening in your picture. So we can take our eraser because I can't see through trees. And inside my big tree, I'm going to erase some of these lines that are happening inside my tree because I can't see them anymore, because that tree's hiding them, just like the table hid the chairs. And it's okay if you can still see some of your lines. So now we've got 3 trees and we're already showing space. We've got a little one, medium one, and then this guy's really big. So let's add a house. I'm going to put it really far away, so it's going to be smaller than my trees. Let's see, let's start with a rectangle. And then we can add a triangle on top. And then from here, you guys can add any doors you want. Windows. We can add some fun details because there are shingles on the house. And I like to do that by drawing a U and then draw another U next to it. And then you just really carefully keep drawing your U's. They start to look like W's across the bottom. And then we can add the next row, and we can add the texture of shingles to our house. And if any time I go too fast, you guys can pause. You don't have to stay with me. You can pause it and hit play when you're ready. Maybe we want to show what time of day it is. So up in the sky, remember we tell stories with our pictures in art class. So if I want to show it's daytime, I might draw a sun. If I want to show that it's nighttime, I might draw a moon. Or if it's sunset, maybe I'm going to draw the sun going down, and then I could color the sky a different color. I'm going to do nighttime. So I'm going to try a crescent moon. That way it doesn't accidentally look like a sun. So now we've got some space happening, because I know that this house is farther away than this big tree because it's smaller and it's way back here with my little tree that got covered up. So now we can add some other things. So maybe down here by the big tree, it's really close. Maybe we want to add some flowers because the flowers are smaller than trees. It'd be easier to see them if they're close to us. So maybe we can add a flower to our landscape. Maybe we want to add another tree back by the house. If you want to do that, we just need to make sure, can't go in there. So this is what I call it pretend draw. So we drew here, we're going to stop and then finish our tree. So we've got our tree there. Maybe we want to have a sidewalk going up to our house. Maybe we want to have it going this way. And watch, it's going to overlap again, just like with our table and with our chairs. It's going to come out the other side. So we know that sidewalk is behind the tree. Okay, so what I want you to do is to pause the video, and I want you to add 5 more details into your landscape. What else could you see in your landscape if you're outside? Okay, so kind of think if there's a house, maybe if you're in a neighborhood, or if you're in a park, or just think of things around where you live. 5 more details. Pause the video. Okay, so here's mine. I added another tree with some more overlapping, so my big tree is in front of my little one. I even added some bushes. So even though these 2 bushes are on the exact same hill, I know this bush is behind this bush, so it shows more space. Same thing's happening here. This bush is in front, this one's in back, so it shows space. I've even got a flower here that went in front of my bush. So anytime you put things on top like that, and then you show that it's kind of hiding whatever's behind it, you are showing space. So now you can get whatever materials you have at home, markers, crayons, colored pencils, and you can color your picture. Pause it so that you can color. All right, so I started coloring. I'm using crayon today, but I wanted to point out a couple things. So you can see I colored my sky black. You want to make sure when you color your sky, you don't just color up here, because the sky comes all the way down and it goes around your things and it stops at that horizon line. So that was that one wavy line we kind of drew here. So your sky should come all the way down. You just want to make sure that when you do that, you don't color your trees that are up there or your house or any of those your sky color, because those aren't your sky, those are other objects. So you got to color around them. Okay, another thing I want you to think about is the way you're coloring. So there, I colored my personal best. I like to kind of trace around the outside of what I'm coloring because it kind of helps me remember, okay, this is what I'm coloring green. But when we color, we want to make sure we color, I call them lawnmower tracks. You might have heard that one before, because when we mow the lawn, we don't mow like this. And if somebody mowed the lawn like that, they would miss spots, just like I did. They mow the lawn in rows. So I like to color in rows, just like somebody mowing the lawn, so that I get all my spots. You guys can tell that it's my personal best when I do it this way. So if you accidentally colored in like this a little bit, we don't want to mow the lawn like that. We don't want to color like that. So then we just go back over it. There we go. We get it fixed. So you keep coloring with whatever you decided to color with. Okay, so I got everything kind of colored in, but here's another thing I like to do with crayons. They're kind of a little extra special that way. Color pencils are the same. So if you get it all colored, this is a whole lot of green happening. So I like to go in and then push a little harder and trace those pencil lines. It kind of helps make those bushes just pop out a little bit more. Another thing I could even do is come in with my brown and maybe add, by pushing hard, some of the twigs that you can maybe see. And then I can do the same thing. You can trace your stem for your flowers. Add those bush details. Another thing I really like is just to make these hills just a little bit different from each other. So I trace those, but then I also like to come in with a little bit of yellow and add some yellow in there. And you can do that kind of quickly if you want, because I already colored everything green, so I'm not really worried about covering the white paper. Just wanting to add a little extra color. See that? You can even add some brown. Maybe you can see some of the dirt underneath. I've got to add those twigs. So when you're all done coloring, I would love to see what you guys did. Otherwise, I hope you had fun and learned a little bit about space in your picture and how things can look farther away and closer, and they overlap and they hide behind each other. I hope you guys had fun.